Hi again then guys, and welcome to another top speed build in particular for Forza 6, and this time we're doing a speed build for the ever popular Bugatti Veyron, in particular the Super Sport on Forza 6, and this car, although of course extremely rapid, isn't quite as dominating as it used to be on Forza, and not as dominating as you'd assume it would be. Of course, it's a Veyron Super Sport. You would assume it's going to be the quickest car in the game, and although it is definitely fast, because of the tunes and swaps, in particular the drivetrain and engine swaps that we can do now, it's just not as dominating as it was, because you can make so many cars almost as good, if not better in some ways. Now, in particular, this is a speed build, of course, but if you want to just get the tune without going through all these settings, you can find the build as well as the visual setup, or the visual design, for this car on my storefront. So you can use the keywords in the description below to get instant access to those if you'd rather just do it the quick way, but this video is for people who like to do their own settings, maybe change parts around, etc. So getting into that setup in particular for the car rather than the upgrades, as far as the gearbox, I would recommend gear settings of 2.4, then 3.5, 2.31 or 2.3, I think I set it on that and it might have changed, 1.75, 1.3, 1.05, 0.9 and 0.82. And then as far as the rest, as always, there's plenty of variation to be had. I personally like neutral camber and tow, especially on an all-wheel drive car. I personally as well like the caster quite high. Then I've rounded off the anti-roll to 30 and 25, for the springs 820 and 850 with a ride height of 3 inches front and rear. As far as the dampers, I've rounded those off as well to 8.5 and then 6.5 respectively. And finally for the diff, I would recommend a centre split of 75%, in particular if you are running all-wheel drive. But now the question is, can it actually reach the kind of speeds that they say it can? Well, being a Veyron, probably, but let's take it out to the track anyway. Now, I would say the most ironic thing about this car on Forza 6, at least from my experience, is that the best thing about the Veyron is not actually its speed anymore. Because obviously once you make other cars capable of similar speeds, because of the tuning that we can do with 6-litre twin-turbo V12 conversions, all-wheel drive conversions, vehicles which are far lighter, etc. And as such, the Veyron loses those advantages which it would typically have. And funnily enough, the point which ends up being the best in favour of this particular Veyron is actually the handling. It handles itself at this kind of power and speed level in a better way than even some other supercars, megacars, hypercars, however you want to term them, and that's kind of ironic. So if you'd like to keep up with other builds like this for extreme speed, you can do that by hitting subscribe or checking out the playlist at the end of this video. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.